option
Right.
for an intro.
Go ahead. Go ahead, Jack.
What I do?
You told me, well, hold on, wait a minute. There's shit. And I said, too late. Started the
Oh, yeah,
intro.
well, yeah. It's like, okay, cool.
And then,
Do it.
well, because I had already pushed go live when you said that. And then so Charisse, just as I was saying, sorry, Jack, in the private chat, Charisse said, you were told to wait. Sorry.
Oh, I didn't see that. That's funny.
Oh, anyway. Oh, gosh.
I was just gonna say. I was just gonna say. There should be an option to do that. To automatically do the intro, but I don't. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong.
No, I really do think that I think that it actually I believe that I just show the intro. I don't push live or anything. I show the intro and then it tells me we'll have to practice with it later another
Yeah.
day.
There you go.
But because I don't remember ever pushing go live to after the intro. If I'm not doing it, yeah. Anyway. Sorry, folks in chat. We're just having a conversation amongst ourselves.
Yeah. Later.
Liam, it is so good to see you. We've missed you.
Well, we're not very techno.
We are not techno. Some of us are worse than others. Yeah, for sure. For sure. I'm having a rough couple of days here. Let me try to get a little bit more comfortable here in my seating arrangement. Yes, we're live, Liam. We are live. As alive as we can be, which is, I don't know. I'm not sure if Kay is coming. I know that she said, a couple of days ago, she said that she wouldn't be able to make it for tonight. And then just yesterday, we kind of had this hearing come up with the Pardon and Parole Board in Oklahoma for Richard Glossip, and we immediately changed plans for tonight's show for Daniel Holtzclaw to talk about Richard Glossip. So that's what we're going to do. I don't really know where to start. I know that a lot of you may not know anything about Richard Glossip. We talk about him on the on this podcast relatively regularly, I believe. Hey, Blair. Hey, Carol Cousins. It's great to see you guys. Talking about his hopefully being able to save him from execution on May 18th. Just a few weeks away. I don't know quite where to start if you don't know anything about the case. Hopefully you've heard us talk about him a little bit. It's a long story. He's been in prison he's been on death row for 25 or 26 years. He's innocent. He's completely innocent, and it's been proven with reinvestigations. What is the word I'm trying to think of for unbiased investigations? People who have no skin in the game whatsoever, doing investigations and reinvestigating the case and finding that there was Richard Glossip ended up having 2 trials, and he, I believe in 1996 or 1997, he was the manager of a motel in Oklahoma City. The owner of the hotel was Barry Van Treese, and he was Richard Glossip's boss. And Richard hired kind of like a handyman to help him out with repairs and such in the different rooms in the hotel. Excuse me. And Richard was, I think, 21 or 24, something like that. And this other guy, Justin Sneed, was 19. And Justin Sneed was kind of he kind of rolled into town, no place to live, no money, no food, no job, no nothing. And so, he was happy to be able to do this work at this hotel. Well, anyway, he ended up killing the owner of the hotel. He ended up bludgeoning him to death, Barry Van Treese. And Barry Van Treese was only like 54 years old, I think, at the time. So, excuse me. Anyway, he beat him to death, and I believe with a baseball bat. And it was a bloody, bloody scene. There is, and I think I'm going to try to stream it starting tomorrow night. I'm going to try to stream it in my Discord, Daniel's Truth. It's called Killing Richard Glossip. And it's 4 episodes, 45 minutes long, I think, each episode. And it gives a really good breakdown of the case from the beginning.
And Rhonda Sneed did admit to killing him, correct?
Yes, he did. Yeah, went during the investigation. The investigators were, pounding him hard in the little tight room that they put him in and questioning. And he basically Cherie, do you remember that dang attorney, investigator's name? We know it well. We read about him several times in Death and Justice.
One is Bill Cook, but I think Bill Cook is dead now, but the other one is still alive, and he's the one that did more of the talking.
Yeah.
I'll have to look. I can't remember his name.
I can't either. His name, and he was the real hard ass. And basically he told Justin Sneed, well, Richard's been arrested too, Richard Glossip. And he's like, oh, I didn't know that. Yeah. And he's saying that you're the one that killed him. So, you gotta, tell me what's going on. 'Cause there's no way that, you could have done this by yourself. Somebody had to have helped you do this, which just is ridiculous when you're looking at somebody that's been bludgeoned with one instrument, bludgeoned to death. I mean, unless they stopped and handed the bat off to the next guy, one person did this act, this murder. And so Justin Sneed, so anyway, this whole big long thing with them, telling Justin Sneed, the kid, you better let them, you better tell the truth that Glossip was helped you do it, or or you're going to get the death penalty for this. And ultimately they made a deal with Justin Sneed that if he, fingered Richard Glossip for the murder, that he could get, he would only get life without parole. And what he ended up doing was, yeah, I did it. I bludgeoned him to death, but it's because Richard Glossip, not coerced,
hired him.
Yeah, hired him, paid it, said he was going to pay him $10,000 if he would kill this guy. And Bob Bemo, I think was his name. So Bob Macy prosecuted this case, and Joyce Gilchrist was the crime lab analyst. Now that pair together, if you've watched any of my other videos from way back in the beginning, there's a big bad history with Joyce Gilchrist and with Bob Macy. They were pretty much willing to do anything outside the law, to get what they wanted in a trial. And so they did this with Richard Glossip and many others. In the book Death and Justice, I think I've got 10 chapters in videos now and 10 chapters in the reading room in my Discord. But they talk about Richard Glossip in that book. What's his name? I can't remember his name. Doesn't matter. So anyway, so he went to trial. Richard was found guilty. Now, Justin Sneed didn't go to trial. He pled guilty to murder and received life without parole. Richard Glossip, because he was innocent, wanted to go to trial. He pled not guilty, and he was found guilty by this jury. The jury didn't have all the evidence. The crime lab analyst jacked stuff up, and Bob Macy was telling Joyce Gilchrist, "This is what we're doing. This is what we're going to do, and this is what you need to do with this, piece of evidence." An entire box of evidence was, using my air quotes, lost and or destroyed from the case. There was evidence and documentation proving, different things about Richard's innocence, or, stuff that could exculpate Richard Glossip and definitely inculpate only Justin Sneed. But he was found guilty. Bob Macy's was a dirty prosecutor. And then he was granted a new trial, I think in 2004 or
Yes,
2004, granted a new trial.
because of what, Rhonda? Ineffective assistance of counsel.
Assistance of counsel, yeah. And there were other things as well, but mostly that. So he was found guilty again at the second trial. And Richard Glossip has been, this is the easiest way to describe it. He has had 3 last meals now since he's been on death row, meaning he's had, I think, 7 or 8, 9 stays of execution for various reasons. And Susan and Cherie, Jack, you guys can jump in here anytime, because but he's had 3 last meals, and which is, if there's a chapter in Death and Justice that explains, and it's in the Discord where I've read it and recorded it in the Discord, where it explains what it's like to be sent to the death chamber, and how, I think what the last meal is like. They go through he goes through, Mark Furman, that was who wrote it, went through, gave pretty good detail about what goes on in those last hours, that 24 hours.
Considering Mark Furman and his past, he actually did a pretty fantastic job in his book. I mean, my opinion, but
he really did. I mean, I know he's got a bad reputation, but
he did some shit that he shouldn't have done, when he was in LA. But I think he tried to make amends for that, and I think he did. But I just want to say this one thing, just give you just a teeny break, and then you guys can pile on. As I think about these various cases of different people, I've done it with the Dassey case and the Avery case and others. I try to put myself in the position of, maybe specifically the person going through it or an investigator. But you think about Richard in his position. It doesn't matter if it's the first time or the 10th time. He knows his death date.
Yeah.
You got to let that sink in for a minute, and you got to think, wow, I know when I'm going to get killed.
Yeah.
And to me, it's cruel. It's cruel and unusual punishment.
Yeah.
Because
absolutely. Oh my God.
I can't. It's like if you're living on the outside world and you know that you've got a whatever with the mob or whoever, it doesn't really make any difference who the hell it is. And you're going to die, even if you were outside that prison, it doesn't matter. Somebody's got you marked for death.
Yeah.
You got to let that sink in for a minute. People think, there are only certain special circumstances where I agree with the death penalty is appropriate. I've changed over the years. I used to be a big supporter of the death penalty. Yeah, bro, that son of a bitch, bro,
Yeah,
kill
me
him.
too.
And as I've got grown up and matured and learned about the criminal injustice system, I've changed. My view has because they've killed a bunch of people that were proven after the fact that they didn't do it. And you only get one chance here. You get one shot. And if you're wrong, you've just murdered someone. There's
Yeah.
no other way to put a label on it. You've just murdered someone in the name of the state or the federal government.
Absolutely.
And I do
And
not agree with
and
that.
it can't be taken back.
No,
it can't
it
be
cannot be taken.
commuted. It
Nope.
can't be vacated. It
Nope.
can't be thrown out.
And
It's
there's no
done.
there's no amount of money that will recover from that.
No, there is no amount of money.
Anyway, I just wanted to get that off my chest while I'm sitting here drinking my coffee.
No, trust me, I know that Susan and Kay and I watched the parole hearing yesterday, and I had to go to work right after the vote was taken, and it was just a depressing day. I was depressed all day yesterday. I don't feel a whole lot better today.
With the people that spoke for Richard, and all of the information that they put out, it is simply unconscionable that 2 of the board members voted against clemency and the other 2 voted for clemency, right, Rhonda?
Yes, 2 voted for Clemency. The first 2 they asked,
which means they have to have a majority. So that means that nope, they're not recommending to the governor that he be given clemency. And it's all down to something political. With the stuff that was said in Richard's favor yesterday, it's an abomination of our system that they are not granting this man clemency. He should be let out of prison, in my view, at least given another trial. But nope, let's just kill him.
No, we're just going to kill him. Well, clemency would have allowed him to get out of prison. I mean, he would have, as far as I understood it, if he were granted clemency, he would have been able to walk out.
Okay.
I believe. Or he would
commuting the sentence, because the state of Oklahoma, they fought to get him clemency or commute a sentence or whatever, but they are still saying that he's guilty, which is total bullshit. Also, they're saying he did not get a fair trial. This is the state telling them this. This is not his defense. The Attorney General of the state of Oklahoma is fighting for Glossip not to be killed.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
And even deeper than what you're saying, Susan, it's the state, the government, the Oklahoma, the Attorney General who's fighting for this. But not even that. There were 76 legislators who, and I believe they were all hardcore Republicans, most, if not all. They're all Republicans. They are all pro-death penalty, and they say that, but they have been they've been looking at the case and saying, something's not right here. There's something isn't right.
He needs a new trial, is what they say.
Trial. Yes, he needs a new trial. And then when the AG, I mean, it's really almost unheard of that an attorney general would step in and say, to the court, well, you know what, we need to step back a little bit because there's something funky about this case. Something isn't right. And Oklahoma Court of Criminal Appeals said, nope, everything's fine. He's had 2 trials. Both juries found him guilty. And the claims that he said, the things that the attorney general said, they're like, no, it doesn't apply because of this or this or this. So we're talking about killing somebody, about murdering somebody and we're not doing every possible thing we can do to prove that they're guilty before we just murder them. And when I say that, like it's just something that's brand new. This case has been going on since 1997.
26 years.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
it's not that it's brand new, and it's not like there haven't been, he got the opportunity for a second trial, but what they're not doing is they're not investigating the investigators. They're not watching the watchmen. They're not looking at the problem. They're looking at the evidence or lack of evidence or jaded evidence or all those things apply. And instead of looking at how the investigation was done, and Justin Sneed has recanted, but not. I mean, he's made hints that he wrote a letter. What if I wanted to change my mind and recant? And I want to be able to live.
And that was hidden. That
And
was hidden from the defense.
That was hidden from the defense, and it's been horrible.
What did
It
the
was
people?
also.
Sorry,
Go ahead, Cherie.
I just wondered. I didn't see the hearing, but what did the people that wanted the execution to go ahead? Like I did see that family members were there of the.
It was only the family.
It was only the family.
And
So
they
there
were
was-
very, very emotional. They believe that Richard is guilty. They were outraged that the attorney general was kind of going against their wishes. So yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, just like in Julius Jones's hearing, the family believes that he's guilty, and they're waiting for justice. And I'm like, oh my God. And it's, I can't imagine what being in their shoes feels like at all. I can't even fathom it.
They've been fully convinced by someone that
Exactly.
he is completely guilty. And I guess they're refusing to look at what the facts are. I don't know, because it's crazy. They were extremely emotional. They're just ready for him to die.
Yeah.
And get it over with. So, but the attorney general came back up after the family spoke and said, you cannot take the family's emotions. You cannot consider that as part of this. That really has nothing to do with this, whether he's commuted or not.
Double D says the attorney general is even saying this is wrong. The attorney general has spoken up and demanded a new hearing or a new trial, and because he believes it's wrong.
But he does believe Richard is guilty.
He believes
I don't know if he believes that, but he says that.
I don't know. I think that's what the family says that he said, and we don't know. But
he just saw so much wrongdoing in his trial. He believes he did not get a fair trial. So that is what he is fighting for.
Right.
Yeah.
And there are just things about the case that he's seen that just aren't jiving with him. So now, Double D, there has been another investigation. There's been several investigations. Last year or the year before, there's me needing that word again that I can't think of, but
a law firm.
Yeah, a law firm from Texas, pro bono, completely reinvestigated the case, start to finish, everything. They found stuff that Justin Sneed had said about, and that he lied. They found a whole bunch of stuff, and they sent back the report and said he needs a new trial.
Well, they believe he's completely innocent.
The law firm,
after their investigation.
There were 30 people that were a part of this law firm that investigated, and they all believe that he's innocent. And so, yeah, they believe he should be freed. But at any rate, excuse me, sorry. So it has been reinvestigated, and the proof, I keep saying the proof. I don't know if proof is the right word, but there is so much that shows the underhandedness of what the investigators
Well,
did.
he was convicted on the words of Justin Sneed, who murdered this man, who
Right.
got out off death row by naming Richard Glossip. That's the only way he was going to get off the death penalty. Uh, you know.
Right.
So
It's
just unbelievable.
It really is. It's hard to even come up with words at how bad this is. Occasional Jeeper, welcome. I believe you're in foul play right now. Welcome. This case is it's a death row case in Oklahoma, and the man is Richard Glossip. And he's 100% innocent. And, I don't just go around saying, oh, this guy's innocent and this guy's innocent and this guy's guilty for sure. I don't do that. I didn't just decide or see everybody else saying it. I looked at what evidence I could get my hands on at the time. And I watched the documentary, and because I don't want to just say someone's innocent just because, a few others are saying it. I want to know the truth. And, he's innocent. He's 100% innocent. And he just had a parole. He just had a parole and Pardon and Parole Board hearing yesterday. And it was kind of, an impromptu is not the right word, but it was kind of an emergency hearing because he's scheduled to be executed on May 18th. And the Attorney General said, no, we need he needs to be pardoned. He needs to have a sentence commuted. He needs clemency, something. And so they got this hearing for them for yesterday for hearing for clemency, and he was denied clemency. So now it goes to the governor, who's a dickhole.
The documentary is "Killing Richard Glossip" is the name of the doco. I think it's on Hulu.
Well,
Hulu?
I have it on Amazon.
Maybe Discovery. Okay.
It might.
Maybe
Oh,
Discovery
you know what?
Plus.
It is on one of those. It is on one of those.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I'm going to start tomorrow evening. I'm going to start streaming it in my Discord for those who want to watch it, and I'll send out an invitation or whatever, an announcement after I get home from work, and we'll start watching it. But
the only person that can stop his May 18th execution is Governor Stitt.
Governor Stitt. Now, Governor Stitt, not only does he believes Richard Glossip is guilty and he should be executed and all that stuff, but he just barely, well, I say barely, it's been a couple of years ago now, he commuted another death row inmate to life without parole under serious pressure in Oklahoma. And that was Julius Jones. Julius Jones was on death row for a murder. And this must sound so bizarre when I keep saying this, for a murder that he didn't commit. And there's the same thing. There's proof and evidence that he did not murder his victim. And you can put those in the chat, Cherie.
Is he the one, Rhonda, is he the one that black man dating the white woman?
No, that's Rodney Reed.
Okay.
And that one's in Texas. This is what's so bad. There are so many cases that we can cite just sitting here talking to you guys right now where we believe very strongly in some cases that the person that's either on death row or in prison for life is not guilty. And what that shows is that there are corrupt systems in our nation, particularly Oklahoma is so bad. And I'm really sorry, Blair and TJ, I know you guys live there. I understand, but I'm telling you, the cases that I've researched and the cases that I've read about, and in Mark Furman's book, Death and Justice, book, and see all of the corruption in Oklahoma City.
You know, it's Oklahoma, it's Texas, it's
It is.
Missouri, it's
It
Wisconsin. I mean, it's a lot of states, and
it
it's the
really
way
is.
the system is set up uh, that allows this to happen.
Yeah. And it's just getting worse is what it really
It,
comes down to.
yeah,
Um,
it's prosecutors having immunity from prosecution, total
yeah.
immunity.
Yeah.
It's the way they climb the ladder um, by putting people away. You know,
Yeah.
it's just it's selfishness. It's you know, people are just worried about themselves and
S-
what they can get.
Yeah. And money and
Money,
prestige.
yeah,
You
exactly.
know, how high up they can attain their status can get. It's just, and it's scary because it is, and I know it's in every state. I get that. I think that some places are worse than others. And I agree. Missouri, by the
They
way,
are,
Susan, it was Walter Barton was the one I was
yes,
talking about yesterday who was executed
yeah.
in. And he was an innocent man. I believe very strongly that he was innocent, and he was executed in Missouri. So there, you know, it's not just Oklahoma. Maybe I feel that way mostly most of the reason I believe that about Oklahoma is because of the book Death
Daniel.
and Justice,
Oh, oh, okay.
because it really outlines a lot of the corruption in Oklahoma, and he tells names and who was involved and what, you know, what crimes were done and things like that. And it's a good
And it,
book. It's a good read. Go
and
ahead.
it seems like I don't, maybe Oklahoma's not any more corrupt than some other states, but they're more gung ho on the death penalty.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
maybe, that's one thing I noticed about them.
Yeah,
Well,
agreed.
the changes that Stitt just made to the Pardon and Parole Board are unbelievable.
Yeah, yeah.
He got rid
Kay,
of.
go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, you.
No,
Nope.
I. Well, he got rid of. Who is it? He got rid of off of there.
Oh, yeah. I'm going to show that too. What is the most corrupt state? Double D, I guess, is asking what is the most corrupt state. Well, if you're asking me, I think we just kind of went over it. If you're asking me, I say Oklahoma, with Texas, you know, really close
Texas
behind.
right on their heels.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's just my opinion.
You guys are forgetting about Illinois and the Chicago area, Lake
Oh,
County.
there's so many.
It's
There's so
yeah.
Horrible. It's horrible.
I only say
Boston,
Oklahoma
back in the
because
day.
I'm following so many cases in Oklahoma.
Yeah.
That's the only reason I say that. I'm sorry,
I
Cherie,
don't
go
Right.
ahead.
Yeah, go
No,
ahead.
I just said Boston back, at least back in the day with that
Yeah.
with the drugs and all that and the cops.
Oh, yeah, no doubt.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's hard to say. I think because I'm following so many cases in Oklahoma, and, you know, if I'm following so many cases from the same state, I think that says a lot or says something, but maybe not. Again, like I said, I'm just really, anyway, Kay
You know a
has,
lot about it.
yeah,
You know
well,
a
and
lot about the corruption there.
I do.
Yeah.
And oh, stay there, Double D, stay there. I'm just kidding. I don't know what it's like to live in Canada. I don't know. I hear some not nice things said about your prime minister from time to time. So it's bad everywhere.
Amen.
It's just really hard.
Psychopaths
Yes.
hold the power in this world.
Yeah. Yeah. And you know, it's I'm not trying to talk about religion or anything like that. Really, I'm really not. I don't like to. Same with politics. I don't ever like to discuss either one of those topics. But I do remember reading when I was very, very young in the book of Revelations, when I was trying to learn stuff in the Bible. And I remember reading about some of this kind of stuff happening. And, you know, in the end times, or whatever they call it, the end times. And I look at it now and I go, dang, yeah, there is evil has, descended on us. I mean, I look at some of these cities and states where, anyway, so
All right, Rhonda, are you one of the 144?
I'm one of the 144,000. Yes.
Are you a Chad Daybell follower?
They got screwed though, because that was 2 Julys ago and they're all still here.
Right.
Anyway, that's another case. Fuck me running, man. I'm telling you what, I can't even hardly deal. I think that's partly why I've been so depressed the last couple of days. Listening to the Letitia Stout trial and listening to the Lori Vallow trial and, trying to pray for Richard Glossip that he doesn't get murdered in a couple of weeks. It's just so much. So anyway.
Now, I love Nan's live comment here. She says, help me understand. Governor Stitt supports making abortion illegal, but supports the death penalty, let alone supporting the death penalty of an innocent man.
Nan's life,
Makes sense
tweet
of that.
that to him often. How can you say that you are pro-life and then in the next breath turn around and say that somebody is guilty of whatever and you're going to murder them? How do you square that with your pro-life stance? I tweet it to him in different ways, but I tweet and tag him in that often because I don't get it. I don't understand how he can, not just him, anybody who's pro-life, but also pro-death penalty. Makes no sense to me. If all life is supposed to be sacred and protected, then just that same guy who committed a crime, even if he's guilty of committing the murder or the crime or whatever, that life is also a sacred life that needs to be protected. He doesn't have to be safe and free on the outside, but I can't square that in my mind. Double D. So what's going on is my channel is the host. I am hosting this show on Just Rhonda. And then Foul Play, Jack hooks into my stream and plays it on Foul Play as well. Is that what you're talking about? Because I know you're in Foul Play chatting. So you're not able to see the comments and stuff that are on my channel because you're in the Foul Play channel watching. Now you can join, you can subscribe to my channel and have them both open. That's what I do.
I just sent him.
I'm on both.
I'm on both, and I just dropped a link on Foul Play to your specific channel, Rhonda. So
okay, thank you.
He can pop over and he can do the show the love, do the sub and thumbs up and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
Appreciate
exactly. Show Foul Play some love too, and me some love, and just so everyone's aware, Catnip is an amazing. She's the link master. I've dubbed her. She's dropping all kinds of links for you guys that you can follow about the case, about the book Death and Justice, and different things. So definitely click on some of those links and save them for later. And you can. And I'm hoping, and I will get these links in the description that we're going to see tonight as well. But yeah, Nan's like, I agree 100%. I say I'm still trying to. I can't make it work. Crockett says, sorry, I can't deal with the death penalty. If I had the power, I'd outlaw all executions. Catch up with later with less testing subjects is talked about when a less test. Oh, I gotcha.
It's a trigger.
Yeah, it's a trigger. It is. I get it.
I want to say something while we're talking about triggers and you were talking about other cases. And it's hard to trigger me. I mean, I can be, but it's hard to do it. But that phone call you linked the other day, the Daybell case.
Oh yeah. Oh.
With her sister.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah, that was rough.
That was rough. And that was in court. Can you imagine?
Yeah.
Or, no, it was played in court, I should say.
It was played in court, yeah.
Can you? I guess What is wrong with these people?
I don't know.
When you talk about evil in the world, that
Yeah.
that epitomizes what they did to
That's
those
it.
kids.
Yeah.
Oh my
In
God.
in the name of Jesus.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Didn't the mom say that both kids have been infested by the devil or
Well, she didn't say it
evil?
about Tylee. She said it about the little boy, JJ,
The
had
little boy.
been, had,
Yeah.
yeah, that he was a
It's a
zombie.
zombie.
Yeah.
Insane.
Yeah.
People are insane. That I mean, yeah, they
There's
kill
no way
others.
around it. There's no way around
Yeah.
exactly what you're saying, Susan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's been, maybe that's what it is that's got me feeling so low. Maybe I need to take a break from all of that, but I need
Yeah.
to, but I also want to keep up with it. I want to hear it all. Now, the nice thing about the Daybell thing, I read the updates. Nate Eaton, I know he would never ever watch my channel or hear anything I'm saying, but I'm telling you guys, Nate Eaton he's
great. I like Nate.
so good. And
Yeah.
every day he's in the courtroom and he's just like on Twitter, because he's also doing it on Twitter, which is blowing my mind. But the same updates that he's putting out on Twitter, he's also doing in a live update thing on East Idaho News.
Oh, that's that reporter, isn't it? Dude,
Yeah.
I like him.
Yeah.
I like him.
Yeah, he's awesome.
Yeah, I like him.
But so yeah, we'll talk about Lori Vallow too before we're done tonight, more, or her trial anyway. And Letitia
Absolutely.
Stouch.
I don't know about that case.
Stalk, I know. Everybody says it different. I try to remember how Al says it. That's all that matters.
Her lawyers were saying it wrong for the longest time.
Yeah.
What's the case about? I didn't know anything about it.
She murdered her stepson. Oh, sorry, Susan.
11 or 12 years old. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. And then took his body from Colorado to Florida and dumped it over a bridge in a suitcase.
Are you kidding me?
Oh no.
No.
It's bad. It's so bad.
So
and
her and the Daybell case got something in common. Evil.
They really do. And I think it was yesterday. Maybe yesterday and the day before, I was telling Susan, both trials had members from CAS, which is cellular something, cell phone stuff. They both had experts on their witness stands talking about the same things. I was freaking out. I was listening to Letitia Stouck's trial, and I was reading Nate Eaton's updates, and I'm like, oh my God, I was getting confused which trial I was, looking at. It was weird.
Stouck has claimed not guilty due to insanity.
Yeah.
She's going with the insanity plea.
Yeah. She is no doubt crazy, but today or yesterday, I think they were able to show that she's not
just a liar.
Yeah, she's making
she claims she has multiple personalities, which totally fake. I mean, that's crazy.
Yeah, so
where's she being tried at?
Colorado.
They have the death penalty, don't they?
Yes.
Oh, wait. Might get fried. I think they do, or did. Maybe they've repealed that now.
I don't think she's up for the death penalty.
I don't think the death penalty's on the table for her.
Oh, really?
I don't. And I'm not even really sure if anybody in the chat knows. Maybe shout it out, but I don't know.
I just looked it up, and it says that they abolished it in 2020.
Yeah, I was thinking about that. Well, I'm not saying she deserves the death penalty, but I'm saying it. In my mind, the depravity of killing your kid, stuffing them in a suitcase, driving them, 1,400 miles, and throwing them off a fucking bridge.
Yeah.
I have no use for that human. I have absolutely no use for him.
And this is where I contradict myself about the death penalty, because you've mercilessly killed a child, and I believe you should die for that. And I know that's contradictory, but I can't help it. I
Well,
can't help that in myself.
that's why I said, Rhonda, there are special case circumstances that I would agree with the death penalty for some people, because what are you going to do with them if
Yeah.
they're willing to do that? I,
I
and not to be
honestly, I think they suffer more by having to sit in prison the rest of their life.
they do.
It's
They do
harder
if
for
they
them.
are.
I don't believe death for anybody. I think it's murder by the
I
state.
I do. I think if they're a psychopath, I don't think they're suffering. They don't have the
No,
capability to feel emotion.
and she might be
Oh, they're
one.
still, they've had their freedom taken away from them,
Yeah,
and they are
absolutely.
very, very limited.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think it's suffering
Yeah, I'm not
for
going to be mad,
anybody.
and I know that people are going to really disagree with me on this, but I'm not going to be mad if Lori Vallow, well, they took the death penalty off the table for her anyway, and I wasn't mad about
Uh,
that.
I want her to live a long and healthy life inside the prison,
Yeah,
long and healthy, long
Yeah,
time, 114 years old,
yeah,
and still locked up, never getting out.
yeah, for sure, for sure. So yeah, it's you guys are making some great comments in the chat, and I can't keep up with all of them and try to talk. I'm not that talented. My ADD is going all over the place right now. Your comments and questions are great, so keep them coming. I agree. I agree, Double D. No one has the right to take a life, whether they call it legal or not. It's just, you know, Utah is a death penalty state. I can't remember the last time Utah executed somebody. Now, Oklahoma and Missouri and Texas, it's like every couple of months you're seeing somebody executed in those states, and I can't, like I said, I can't remember, and I also can't remember the last time there was an execution in Idaho. So
there was one this year in Missouri. They killed an innocent
yeah,
man.
yeah, it's just oh God. And tonight's show is really, really to give some support for Richard Glossip. And I definitely want to do that. I want to, but I also want to talk about these other things too, because they're just so compelling. I don't know another word. I'm going to kind of
Well,
get back to
a
Richard
lot of
Glossip. Huh?
a
Go
lot of
ahead.
these cases they've been weaponized politically, criminally. They've
Yes,
been weaponized, and it
Yeah,
works your
yes.
psyche because
yeah,
we try to think about, as regular decent people, what's right and what's wrong, and looking at when somebody is just that far out, man, it really gets under my skin. It does a lot of people. That's why it's bothering you, Rhonda, because you've got a good conscience.
Oh, well, thank you. And I know that I'm in good company. So, um, yeah. So,
Well, I may have to get on the down elevator before it's all over with.
get on the what?
The down elevator.
Oh, uh,
I joke about that all the time.
we'll see. I don't
Yeah.
know.
All
Let me
right.
see what's over here.
On with Richard. I'm sorry for interrupting.
Oh, well, Cherie, you can put these things in the chat because everyone would really love to hear what you're sharing. She says the last in Utah, the last execution was 19. No, I don't think. I think there was one more recent than that in Utah, Cherie. The last in Idaho was 2012. Okay, I didn't know that either. But I believe Gary Gilmore was executed in Utah in the 90s, if I'm not mistaken. And he faced the firing squad. They didn't have lethal injection, I don't believe. Okay, exactly. Thinks he knows everything, huh? But I'm not sure. So I'm going to get back a little bit to Richard Glossip and just kind of share you guys. Kay, oh, good Lord. Kay came up with a lot of stuff to share with about the Glossip hearing. So I'm going to share those things. Some of them are news clips, which aren't very long, so it's not a bunch of stuff, but it's important. So This is video, both sides of the case discuss Richard Glossip's clemency denial. So I haven't seen this either.
Our team coverage continues. Broken Arrow State Representative, you heard him there, Kevin McDougal, says the fight is not over for Richard Glossip.
McDougal has been in support of the Richard Glossip Innocence campaign for around 4 years now and was at today's clemency hearing. Fox 23's Alex Cash is live after talking with him, and she listened to the family's testimony at the hearing as well. Alex.
This case is very divisive, with people on both sides calling for justice to be done.
I spent over half my life waiting for justice to be served to those responsible.
That's Derek Van Treese, the son of Barry Van Treese, speaking at Richard Glossip's clemency hearing. Glossip is convicted over Van Treese's murder in 1997. He says he didn't do it, though. But as the Van Treese family calls for justice, others say denying Glossip clemency is not right.
I'm not even close to justice. I'm very disappointed in their judgment because I would like to ask them questions now. I'd really like to ask those two people questions. Tell me what it was that weighed in your mind that made you make this decision to put a guy to death when the
I want to know that too.
Problems in this case.
State Representative Kevin McDougal says he's now asking Governor Stitt to step in.
The only thing he can do is grant 60-day stay. That's all he can do. He can't pardon him. He can't. I think legally the only thing he can do is grant that stay. And that's what I'm going to ask for.
Glossip's attorney, Don Knight, is also calling on the governor to grant a reprieve, saying execution would be irreversible justice. In a statement, Knight says, "We will pursue every avenue in the courts to stop this unlawful judicial execution." They filed an unopposed application for stay of execution with the U.S. Supreme Court. At the hearing Wednesday, the Van Treese family said they felt the campaign to give Glossip clemency was a stab in the back.
This unprecedented response shows an unbelievable level of disrespect to every person that spent the last 26 years working this case and to our family. Enough is enough.
But McDougal says this is now a critical moment for Glossip and he will continue to fight.
He's fighting for his life. So now they'll take it to the Supreme Court. I am going to continue to fight until some of these things are made right. And if they kill Richard Glossip, I will fight against the death penalty in Oklahoma because we killed an innocent man.
This is drawing national attention now. Even Kim Kardashian has tweeted about it. Glossip's lawyers are in a bit of a time crunch. He's scheduled for execution on May 18th.
And Alex, this is really kicking open just simply the debate once again about the death penalty.
Yes, we had a statement tonight from conservatives concerned about the death penalty. They said it's time for Oklahoma to halt all executions and truly examine its death penalty process. Covering News That Matters, I'm Alex Cash, Fox 23 News.
And more details for you. In case you're wondering how a 2-2 vote on clemency led to clemency being denied, the rules of the Pardon and Parole Board state there has to be a vote of at least 3 or more in favor to grant clemency. Otherwise, it's denied. The 5th member of the board recused himself because of a conflict of interest. His wife was the prosecutor in Glossip's second trial.
What?
We'll bring you updates on this case on air.
Yep.
Fox 23 News app.
Then how could have it possibly been?
Yeah, sorry, I forgot. I telling you guys that.
There's no way there could have been a given clemency because they didn't have enough to do it to begin with. I mean,
Right.
I mean, I guess they could have, but
They had that majority.
I don't know what's playing. Sorry.
And they had a tie. So
I don't know
Right.
what's up there.
it
Yeah.
wasn't majority.
Yeah, and if it's not a majority, then
that's why you need
They
the odd man
recommended
out.
denied.
You need
And-
need the odd man.
and that
Yeah.
makes me, and of course I don't agree with that, but it makes sense to me when we're talking about the life of somebody's life, and you're talking about murdering that person. If it's a tie vote, I believe that it should be in favor then of the man whose life you're about to take.
Absolutely.
I agree with you, Rhonda.
Absolutely, 100%.
So yeah,
Because you
And
got two. You
also,
got
the board said absolutely nothing. All they did was vote.
no,
They didn't
no, yes,
speak about it. They didn't say one fucking word. They just yes or no,
unconscionable.
and
and then it was over.
They were given the opportunity to ask questions of anybody who spoke, including Richard Glossip. And
Yep.
when they said they had no questions for Richard Glossip, I said, this is bad. This is bad. They've already made up their mind. So, yeah, that wasn't the video. I wasn't supposed to show that one first. I was supposed to be this one first, but you know what? You're getting them backwards. So I don't know what
That's
to tell
okay.
you. But yeah, you'll still be able to figure out.
That's what she said.
Shut up, Jack. This is serious.
Sorry, you dropped that one on the ground, and I had to. I couldn't help
No,
myself.
you didn't actually have to. Don't
I
have
Oh,
to
did.
it's good to
always.
laugh, Rhonda.
Huh?
It's good to laugh.
Levity.
Oh, I
this.
know. I'm trying. I'm
Oh.
trying really hard. Okay, so this is one that you should have heard before that, but it's okay.
And to understand the importance of this case, we need to go back to the beginning to lay out the facts and how we got here.
Yes, News 9's Colby Thielen gives us a timeline.
In 1997, a man named Barry Van Treese was beaten to death at the hotel he owned right here in Oklahoma City. Justin Sneed, who worked maintenance there, confessed to doing it. Now, as part of the plea deal, he pointed the finger at the manager, Richard Glossip, saying that he was actually the mastermind. Now, in 1998, a jury convicted Glossip. He was sentenced to death. But in 2001, the Court of Appeals reverses that conviction, remanding a new trial. It cited ineffective counsel and called the evidence that backs up Sneed's testimony extremely weak. Glossip was then tried again in 2004, and again, the jury found him guilty. Now, when we jump ahead to 2015, Glossip received a stay of execution. The U.S. Supreme Court was reviewing the state's lethal injection protocol, and Glossip was named as the plaintiff on that case. His execution was stayed 3 times that year, even reprieved once at the last minute. Now, last year, the execution was reprieved by the governor. Governor Stitt did it twice in order to allow the Court of Appeals to review new evidence in that case. And that brings us to January, where the new AG, Gittner Drummond, requested executions to be spaced out, while Glossip's execution date was then moved to May. He also ordered independent counsel to review the case. Last week, the AG requested that Glossip's execution date be moved to August of next year in order to allow time for the independent investigation. Of course, we'll continue to follow the new latest developments, both here and on the News 9 app. Colby Thielen, Oklahoma Zone, News 9.
And for those that don't know this, Richard has had 3 last meals.
Yeah, 3. And one was just, I think it was within just an hour or so of actually being strapped to the table. And I think, like we were saying earlier, and like Jack said, that in and of itself, even just once, is torture.
I was just going to say that when you feel like you can't take anymore, I think of him.
Yeah,
you know, what he's been through.
You know what? That's a great point, Cherie. Great point. Yeah, because no matter how bad our problems are that we think we have, I think I have, I can't imagine what he's going through. It's just mind-boggling. It is cruel and unusual. Yes, Liam. This is another link that I think that she shared this because we're going to play the video clips, I think. So I'm going to, I think that's what I'm going to try. Whoops, sorry. Oh, focus, Rhonda. Okay, here we go. I lost my StreamYard tab. Okay, Richard Glossip and share. And I just learned something new about, instead of going back and forth trying to find tabs, I can just do it right from StreamYard. Anyway, long story that doesn't need to be explained. Okay, so I'll just read this first part. Out of Tulsa, clemency is denied for Richard Glossip. Glossip's attorneys filed for a stay of execution from the Supreme Court. I'm nervous about that. I don't know at this late notice, unless the Supreme Court is, keen to, take emergency cases at the last minute. We're at the last fucking minute. That's how
they
I
do.
feel. They
They
do.
do
I
take
hope
'em.
so. Okay. Because if there was ever a case that needed it, it's Richard Glossip's. So Oklahoma Attorney General Gentner Drummond previously called for the conviction to be vacated. In an Oklahoma P&P board hearing yesterday, his request for clemency was denied in a vote of, I don't even know how it's considered a vote, of 2-2. There has to be a majority vote. And if there's not, then they go with the denial. We just learned. So a fifth member of the board. Now, this was something I said to Kay. So the fifth member of the board recused himself because his wife was a prosecutor in Glossip's second trial. Well, then he needs to be off the board altogether, in my opinion, because
Yes.
if his wife was a prosecutor in Oklahoma County, it's very likely that he's going to be coming up across another case where he'll have to recuse himself because his wife was a part of it, and so on and so on and so on. Get his ass off the board.
100% agree.
Yep.
So this was, let's see, I'm not really sure what this is, so I'm just going to
That's the hearing.
Well, I know what this is.
This case was corrupt.
I don't know
And
if
it is
it's
our duty, your duty, my duty to
the
carry out
entire
justice.
thing.
I ask you, vote clemency and carry out justice demands that we vote clemency. Thank you very much for your time.
Okay, that person speaking was J.J. Humphrey. He's a
Good
representative.
morning. My name is
The
Justin.
He's a Republican.
I'm from the
right?
Clayton area
Oh,
of
staunch
southeastern
Republican.
Oklahoma. And I was first introduced to this case by watching the documentary Killing Richard Glossip in 2017. I'm in full support of capital punishment, but we as Oklahomans must be absolutely sure there are zero doubts that the convicted is 100%.
Okay, we're not going to play that because it was over a 2-hour long hearing. But I believe Kat has, or we will, put a link to the Facebook. Let's see, it says I can share from here. What does that mean? Oh, well, apparently nothing now. Well, anyway, it's on their Facebook Live. KJRH, Channel 2, it looks like. So, that has something to do with homes and young women. Never mind on that one. Okay, so we'll stop with that one. So, okay, so here's the... Kat, do you have the link for the Facebook Live? Because that's what I have right here. I'm just going to go ahead and put this, because I don't know if where the hell is my StreamYard? I'll put this in the chat, in both of the chats. And then what you can do if you want is, then you can, I guess I kicked my own YouTube off. What did I do with it? I kicked it off. Okay. If you want to listen to the whole hearing, you can then you can go to here and watch it. And if one of you guys wants to take that link and put it over in, I kicked myself off of both of the YouTubes, so let me get back over here to Foul Play. Okay. Back to StreamYard. Sorry, guys. Anyway, so then you can follow that link and go watch the entire hearing. I'm not going to lie. I teared up when Richard Glossip was giving his, he had 20 minutes. And it was really sad to see him sitting there and just very calmly and mildly. And I I don't know. I can't describe how I felt about his face. It was heartbreaking to see. I don't want to say begging for his life, because he wasn't like, oh please don't, he was just very to the point. I'm innocent. I didn't do this. I didn't conspire to whatever he said. And they just like shit on him, like literally just shit on him. It's just, it was just horrendous to see him begging for his life and get nothing from it. Okay, I'm trying to get rid of these things as I use them so that I don't, it's not quite so crowded in my, so here's another link.
Rhonda,
Yes.
did you catch what the family said about sitting down with Richard Glossip and he just lied and lied and lied to them?
No, I didn't hear that. They said that yesterday?
Yeah, I think it was Barry's wife that said that. I'm not positive, but one of the family members said something about sitting down with him. I have to listen to that again because I didn't catch it all. Yeah.
Oh, that would be interesting. I remember hearing her say something about, and he lied and lied and lied, but I didn't hear what she said. Let me just tell you guys too, before you go to this hearing and watch it on the Facebook thing, the sound was atrocious. It was hideous. You couldn't hardly hear. It was just bad. You'll hear, if you go to listen to it, you'll hear how bad it was.
Parts of it were good. Other parts were bad. They had to interrupt twice because they lost sound. They lost picture. That it was a technical nightmare, but yeah.
Yeah, it was a clusterfuck is what it was. Sorry, I'm just like, so anyway, those are some links, and I'll also put them in the description, or my YouTube manager will put them in the description for me so that you guys can go back if you weren't able to catch them or something. You can go to the description later and find the links there. Let's see. I'm going to show a few comments here. TJ Anderson says, sorry to say, but having been a victim of it myself, fighting the OK court system is like David fighting Goliath, only you don't have a slingshot. Yeah, see, and TJ knows. TJ knows. If anybody knows, TJ knows. TJ knows. I need to give TJ a wrench, so in case he ever wants to, because he's often sharing, well, I probably shouldn't put him in timeout. Let me go to this other place and do it. Well, for hell's sake, he's often sharing good information with us, and
he lives in Oklahoma
because he lives there. Yeah, and he may or may not, ever want to, be.
He says, I was a victim of stolen identity. I got convicted of what the person who stole it did because I couldn't prove I didn't do it. Oh man, that's frustrating. Jesus.
Yeah.
So sorry, TJ.
Yeah, sticky keys. Yeah, something like that, Liam. Sticky mind is what it is. Yeah, that's terrible. Because unless you have a high priced attorney, and even then, I don't know if they're not part of the state in some way, shape, or form. If they're not buddy or whatever, you're not going to be able to.
The FBI later proved I didn't do it. Thank God.
But did that even help you, though? I mean, did that even, like, I don't know, did it make a difference, I guess is what my question is. Later, the FBI was able to prove that you didn't do it, but you're already, what is it? You're tarnished already. So I don't know. Let's see. Catch up on some. Liam, we've missed you. You've been away for a few weeks. Liam says, my suspicious mind says that the hung board decision was fixed in order to make it look like they did all they could. But aw shucks, we sure did all we could do for justice, and it's out of our hands. I completely agree. Completely agree.
Well put, Liam.
Yep. What specific lies? What were we talking about with lies? I don't remember.
Oh, the family.
Oh,
yeah, I don't.
That he didn't do it. I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, that he was innocent.
Did he just say stuff she wasn't prepared to listen to? Possibly. Possibly. I don't know. But it's just
I'm sure they were convinced by the DA that he was lying.
And I think that happens in just about all these kinds of cases. It happened with the Halbach case, the man, Kratz and all that whole team of dickholes managed to really, really take advantage of the Halbachs, at least in my opinion.
Oh, absolutely. They still use them.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and yeah, great point. Look at Daniel. He was part of the state as an officer. They didn't have his back. No, they depends on who you are. I don't know what you're talking about, TJ. I don't think you screwed anything up. Oh,
He's talking about the wrench.
He's talking about his wrench. Okay, yeah. I was like, wait a minute. What do you mean screw anything? No, you didn't screw anything up. Well, just because TJ, you always have so much to share, and I thought if there were things that you knew that you could share, that there was a link for, you're welcome to do that.
You can now post links.
You can now share links. Yeah. So no, you didn't screw anything up. Excuse me. So I know that there are other links that I'll just share with you briefly, so that you can look for. And I'm sure that Kat's already been putting these links in. I'm sure, but this is the website for. It's not the Facebook website. This one is. Save Richard Glossip. It's just simply saverichardglossip.com. And this gives you a really good timeline, the new evidence, news, videos, take action. How can you take action? I'm sure that they've updated it since yesterday, I would imagine. But at any rate, this is another place if you're into reading and researching and really wanting to, see some good information. This is a great website to go to do that. And then this was, oh shit, what did I do? So I wanted to, I got to find what Kay shared with me yesterday. So these are, let me find my StreamYard tab. What was I going to share? Oh, this is what the Pardon and Parole Board in Oklahoma, and I'm not going to give you all the details. We'll put the link in the description, or you can look it up. It's just ok.gov PNPB. Anyway, this tells you who the board members are. Honorable Richard A. Miller. He's been a federal judge or district judge. Gosh, focus, Rhonda. He's been all over in the Oklahoma government and judicial system. And then Dr. Edward can't pronounce his name, Koninsky. He voted for clemency yesterday. Dr. Edward Koninsky. And so when I heard that, I thought, oh, thank God. H. Calvin, because I thought, okay, we, at least one, we get to, and we heard the two yeses for clemency before we heard the no's. And I just was praying to get one more yes, and we would have been home, but it didn't work. But anyway, Calvin Prince, those are his credentials or whatever, and he's been involved in the judicial system in Oklahoma as well. Mr. Richard Smotherman is the one who recused himself because his wife had been a part of Glossip's second trial. And then Mrs. Kathy Stalker, when Kay saw her sitting on the board yesterday before it started, she's just said, oh my God, it's Kathy Stoker, however it's pronounced. And I said, what do you mean? Is that bad? And she said, that's bad. She was, and I don't know where the other link is she gave me. But there was a man, and it was during the Julius Jones hearings that his name was Adam Luck. Does that sound right to you, Cherie? I think it's Adam Luck. He was on the Pardon and Parole Board, and he was asked to resign by Kevin Stitt. He asked him to resign, and because, well, as we now know, because he didn't agree, his beliefs didn't align with Stitt's on the death penalty. And Adam Luck became a part of the parole board during the moratorium because Oklahoma was in I don't know how many years it was, in a moratorium where they couldn't do any executions because of the whole drug thing was so bad. The drugs that they used to execute it didn't work properly in the middle of an execution, and it botched an execution. I think it did 2 executions this way, but the man that they were executing, he didn't die ever, and it was like 45 minutes of pure agony that he went through because the drugs that they were using weren't the right drugs or didn't work properly or whatever their fucking excuse was. And he went through. Go ahead.
The fact that this guy doesn't align with Stitt, that's the reason he should be there.
Exactly. Yeah, and so it was after Julius Jones's hearing that he and Adam Luck said, I basically in the letter, which I can't find. I'm so mad at myself right now. I'm going to go back through Discord and see if I can find it while I'm talking. But yeah, he was willing to do it, to be a part of the Pardon and Parole Board when Oklahoma was on the moratorium and they couldn't do any executions. And I'm going to show it to you right here. I found it. And we'll read the letter. I'll read the letter for you to hear how horrible this is, what Stitt did. He's such a, what did I just do? I can't believe when I read this guy's letter, Adam Luck's letter, I was disgusted, not at him, but the fact that Stitt got rid of him or forced him to. I don't know how well you can see this. Let me see in StreamYard. Oh, well, you can't really see it very well, but I'll read it to you. Let's see. And this is on Non-Doc. I love Non-Doc. They're really, I don't know if it's a Oklahoma paper or what, but I really like them. So this was done January 14th, 2022. And Adam Luck says, Dear Governor Stitt, at your request, I am resigning as the chair and as a member of the Oklahoma Pardon and Parole Board, effective today, January 14th, 2022. When I began service on this board, there was a moratorium on executions in the state of Oklahoma. As we resumed executions in October, I came to the conclusion that guided my votes during the 5 clemency hearings our board conducted. I understand these beliefs differ from yours, and while I could continue my service, I wish to honor your request and allow you to appoint an individual more aligned with your position. I am grateful to you for the opportunity to serve in this capacity over the last 3 years. We both know how much was accomplished and are equally aware of how much is still to be done. I believe the board is well equipped to continue their part of that work. The staff, led by Director Tom Bates and assisted by Melinda Romero, Kyle Counts, Leroy Long, and some others, are among the most professional, talented individuals I've had the privilege to work alongside. They should be commended for their work, and I offer my gratitude to them for their assistance and trust. I felt like that was just reprehensible. That he would, well, I don't know, that not him, but that he had to resign his position because he knew his beliefs were not going to match up with the governor's. So there's a link to that article that I just read that little part to. It's a good read. You might want to read that one for sure as well. But Kathy Stoker, I think that was her name, the one that was really upset when Kay saw yesterday, she apparently, her beliefs do align with Governor Stitt's. So that's who he chose to replace Adam Luck. And so this is why I believe that this execution is going to go forward. I hope that the Supreme Court does the right thing. Excuse me, I just had to take a drink of water. But, we won't know. We don't know. We won't know until, in the next couple of weeks. And at the very least, or at the very most, I think the only thing that the Supreme Court could do is just remand it back to the state court and demand another trial.
I don't even know why they have a pardon and parole board if they're all going to just be the same thinking as the governor. What's the point?
Yeah, that's just it exactly. If the governor is just going to put people on that board who think like he does, there's no chance for anybody, innocent or otherwise.
Echo chamber, like Liam says.
Echo chamber, yeah, yep, exactly, like Liam says, it's an echo chamber. And I don't know. I don't really know what else to say about Glossip, you guys, other than it's just my heart is broken. And
pray to the governor.
Pray. We're going to be hitting Twitter. We're going to be having
to hit 3 weeks.
Yeah.
3 weeks away.
Yeah. Hopefully, hopefully we're going to hear something from the Supreme Court next week. But after that, it's only 3 weeks. We're at the 27th of April right now. And we have 3 weeks to, go hard again at the governor, just like we did with, for those who were involved with Julius Jones's case. But the difference, Julius Jones escaped the death. He escaped being murdered by the state, but he's still in prison for the rest of his life. And I believe, with the evidence that I've seen in Julius Jones's case, I believe he's also innocent. And I don't believe that every person in Oklahoma that goes to prison or goes to death row is innocent. I don't believe that. I know that most of the people that they send to prison are guilty. I get that. but there are so many that are innocent, and it's not just, one or two coming out of the woodwork. Some of these cases, like Richard's, has been high profile from the very beginning. And he made the book Death and Justice by Mark Furman. His case is in that book. There's a documentary about him. There's a little documentary. I don't know if we can call it that, but there's a little documentary about Daniel. Julius Jones. There's an independent documentary about his case. Julius Jones had basketball stars, football stars, celebrities, trying to back and support him. And so, it's, I don't think so. I really don't think so, Becca. I wish. I don't think the governor is going to do it again. I think he was pressured, and I don't think that the pressure is going to be any less than it was for Julius, but he was pressured it was so high profile at that point. And Richards is too. Maybe I'm wrong. I hope I'm wrong. But I don't know if it will get commuted to life.
From what that guy just said, the only thing he can do is stay his execution for 60 days.
Yeah, but I don't think that's true. I was listening to that thinking, no, the governor could pardon him. The only thing the board did was recommend not to give him clemency. They aren't the deciders. They just give their recommendation.
Right.
That's all they're doing. He can do whatever he wants at the end of the day.
Yeah. He's the governor. Yeah. I didn't think that was right either.
Yeah.
Maybe Cherie can look it up, or maybe she knows.
Yeah, because I remember with Julius Jones, he had a hearing just like this, and he was very close to, I think it was within a week of his execution date. Julius Jones was actually at the execution holding cell where they go for the last month before they're executed. And he was in there within a week, if I'm not mistaken. So, excuse me. So Governor Stitt can pardon him. He can grant him clemency anyway. He could commute his sentence, but I don't think he's going to. I think
I was just thinking about
because I remember with Julius Jones, he had a hearing just like this. What's happening? Oh, Cherie was on your YouTube was open. What were you saying, Cherie? Oh,
Cherie.
Go ahead, Susan. What were you going to say?
Was I?
Oh, I don't know.
I think it was me.
Okay, Cherie.
I was on YouTube for a bit, so I think I'm behind the conversation. Because I had to leave my laptop, and but you were talking about whether the governor could do what he wants in spite of what the board said, and I don't know the answer, for sure, but I was thinking about what Laura Nightrider said about Brendan in. But this is Wisconsin, but he has even though he says he has to do, Governor Evers says he has to do what the board says or whatever, he really has his own, he can do it without them, do what he wants without them as far as clemency. And so I'm wondering if it's the same in Oklahoma. I would think it's just a power that the governor has, just like the president, kind of. But
well,
I don't know.
Because if I'm not mistaken, the board denied commutation for Julius too.
Denied recommending.
Yes. Or the board denied the recommendation. Yeah, recommending commutation. I don't remember. It's been it's sad, but it's been a while since we had his hearing. I don't think the board recommended commutation for Julius Jones, but I'm not sure. Becca, do you know? I can't remember. I feel like the board recommended execution. So, but yes, you're exactly right. Liam, he's got the board stacked. He really does. He's got everybody in there that he wants that agree with him on the death penalty. This way, now he can say, well, the board said no to clemency, so he's going to be executed. At least that's for Julius. Becca. Well, it's all weasel words when you're dealing with a person's life. Like every grain of sand has to be overturned when you're talking about. It's not just we're not talking about Richard Glossip is guilty of this murder, guilty of the conspiracy of this murder. That's just it. He's guilty for conspiracy. He's on death row for conspiracy of murder.
He's not guilty, but they said he was. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But let's just say that he's guilty. And I forgot where I was going with that. It left my brain. Yeah, Becca, look that up for me because I can't remember. I felt like they said no commutation for Julius, but the governor doesn't want to get his hands dirty. He wants this. He wants to execute every single person that's on death row. He doesn't want to be the one he doesn't want to get his hands dirty. So he's going to let his board make that decision. And then he can just wash his hands of it and say, well, that's what the board decided. Execution's going to go.
But what the weird thing is with all of these Republicans calling for clemency, which is his party.
Right.
It makes no sense to me.
And you would think that he would be really, paying close attention to that. These are my direct colleagues.
Yep.
And hey, Jeff Jones.
I think I have a little bit more maybe hope with this U.S. Supreme Court. Maybe.
I don't know.
Because they just, gave Rodney Reed a break. But
yeah, they did. They did. So Becca looked it up for me. The Oklahoma Pardon Parole Board has for a second time recommended that Oklahoma. Oh, so they did grant clemency. They did vote for clemency for Julius Jones. Okay. I wasn't sure. Thank you for looking that up, Becca. Yeah. It's hard to, I don't know. It just feels like, he's come this far. He's had his last meal 3 times. And yeah, I agree. I really do agree, Liam. He says, if you're innocent, granting clemency is such a mealy-mouthed thing to do. Yeah, I agree. And TJ says that Oklahoma is still afraid of the BLM. Well, you know what? Some of these people in Oklahoma, like the AG, they need to grow some balls. Like, quit paying attention to what the Republicans think. That I was just going to say, quit making it all so political, but it is all completely political, and it's pissing me off. And there's nothing I can do to change it because I don't live in Oklahoma. Not that I could change anything anyway, but I would sure be there marching on streets and shit. no doubt. And okay, thank you. Thank you for sharing that, Becca. You know, that's another link. I'm going to grab that one for you guys too. And I know I've shared it before, but it's really worth sharing often. And that is deathpenalty.org. There's a lot of good information in there. And they talk about just people that have been executed in general, and you know, tells you their race, their crime. Just it's a good link. It's a good place to go for death penalty information. And I don't know if Jeff is still in foul play or not. But I saw Jeff Jones pop into foul plays live. So he might be wondering too what's going on, because I've never seen him in here before. But Jack just hooks up with my live and presents it. He presents my stream on Foul Play's YouTube channel simultaneously. It's pretty cool. So,
and we're talking about Richard Glossip.
And yes, and we're talking about Richard Glossip. My mind is really twisted right now. I'm having a hard time. Susan's doing a great job at, you know, saying things that I want to say, and I can't put it into words. So, what is Power Rhonda activate? I'm trying to see where they're still afraid of BLM. You know, and TJ, you know, he said he moved away from there. From Oklahoma City.
From Oklahoma City. I think he's still in Oklahoma.
Yeah, he's still in Oklahoma. Who has a thing coming up? TJ? I don't know. There are several things that are popping up. Well, thanks, Jeff, for popping in for even just a few minutes. It's all good. We appreciate it. If you're not subbed to my channel, go ahead and come in and sub to my channel real quick before you leave, Jeff. So Becca says, what more can it take for an innocent person to have freedom? It's maddening. I agree. And I think that's where I just get like so in my head about it. Like, it just feels like there's nothing that we can do. You know, and people say, yes, you can. You vote. Well, what good does voting do? Look at all the Republicans who are backing Richard Glossip. The Republicans, and JJ Humphrey, the little guy that briefly you heard talking in the hearing thing that I showed briefly, he is a hardcore Republican, and he fully believes and supports the death penalty. And he thinks he knows in his heart that this case is jacked up. He knows that Oklahoma is about to execute an innocent man. And his friend McDougal, same thing. 76 representatives, Republican representatives, know that Richard Glossip is innocent and believe that at the very least he deserves a new trial. These guys believe in the death penalty. They support the death penalty. And they're the ones who are saying, stop. This case isn't right. This man is innocent. Hardcore Republicans. What else do they need? What more can be said? I don't know. It's making me sick. And really sorry I got on a soapbox for a minute. Anybody else, please feel free to comment.
You said it all. I mean,
Well, I just hope that wherever you live, whatever you believe, if you have a higher power, you pray to a higher power, you pray to God, or if you never pray, find a way somehow to beg whoever, the powers that be, to save this man's life. If there was ever an innocent man who was going to be executed and deserves to be freed, it's Richard Glossip. And it's so close at this point that it's making me physically ill. So please, look into the case, look at these links that we've shared, and make up your own mind. And like I said, I'm going to start tomorrow evening. I'm going to start streaming the Killing Richard Glossip documentary. It's only 4 episodes long. We could probably get through it in one night if everybody wanted to, or we could finish it on Saturday afternoon before reading with the crew. And this was done. The documentary was done years and years ago, before all of the legislators and AG and all of that. So
reinvestigations.
Before exactly. This takes place just about the time that his attorney now, Don Knight, it takes place just about the time he took over the case, shortly after he took over the case. And
before they got that big box of evidence.
Yeah, box number 8. Yep.
Box number 8.
Box number 8, which was a recurring theme yesterday listening to. And it's just
proved that the killer, what's his name?
Justin Sneed.
Was on lithium, had been to a psychiatrist, had been put on lithium. He denied that on the stand. He lied.
He lied on the stand.
Yeah.
About several things. About that.
Everything.
Sure.
Yeah.
Everything. Yeah, everything out of his mouth was a lie, because he put all the blame on Richard.
Except that he actually killed him.
That's the only thing he told the truth about.
Yeah.
Honestly, I mean, and when we say lied on the stand, not during his own trial, but during Richard's trial, he was the state's star witness. So
they had no evidence against Richard Glossip.
And it's mind-boggling when I listen to his family, who I know are in pain, not because of the state of Oklahoma, not because anyway. I get that they're still suffering because they don't feel like they've had closure. But when they say he lied and lied and lied, well, what did he lie about? And you haven't seen the evidence that we've seen. What evidence is that? Because we hadn't even seen everything that we've now seen, probably stuff that they never saw that proves that he's innocent. So I don't like to be this way, but it kind of pisses me off. It pissed me off when I heard them say that yesterday. And I know that's not very nice, but
I also don't understand why the family doesn't feel they're getting justice until he's dead. I mean, they've both been in prison for 26 years.
Right. And
why do they need death?
Why does it have to be death?
And the one that actually killed him is not up for death.
Right.
It's
awesome,
Liam.
Thank you so much, Liam. We really appreciate that.
There is a petition. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know if there's a petition on I can't even think. But yeah, it really kind of upset me. I was a little salty at the comments when they were making those comments yesterday, because I thought, no, what are you talking about? He lied. Richard lied. When did he lie? that you've heard. I will have to listen to that again, Susan, because I didn't hear who they said lied. I can only assume they're talking about Richard.
Yeah, I need to listen to it again too. I'm pretty sure that's what they said. They sat down with them, but I'm not absolutely certain on that. So
yeah, I'm really curious too. I'm gonna have to go back and listen to it if I can stand to. It's just let me tell you this much about the hearing. The defense, Richard's side, they presented very logical, factual information about Richard's case. I felt like they did an exceptionally good job explaining everything. And then, you know, his family, or, you know, not his family, but the Van Treese family got up there and they were, you know, and I kind of felt bad initially because she's like, there's nobody here. He's got all these people here represent. Well, it's his fucking life that's about to be taken. So yes, he's going to have as many people there as he can get to try to save his life. And, you know, the fact that what had happened was the AG turned and looked at the case and said, well, wait a minute now. And they ended up feeling like they were left all alone with nobody representing them, the Glossip family. But you know what? That's not they are not the people that my concern is with right now. And I believe that even if Richard's life is saved, they are still getting justice. They will get justice every single day because the man who bludgeoned their loved one to death is in prison for the rest of his life. No possibility of parole. So you're getting justice. The man who actually took your loved one's life is never going to be free again. So you're getting justice. Right now, you're begging the state of Oklahoma to murder a man who, for all you know, could be innocent. You only know what the state told you. That's it.
that's right.
So that's where my concern is. That's where my care is. That's where my support is now, has been, behind Richard Glossip. He's about to be murdered in 3 weeks. I'm sorry, Van Treese family, your justice is still ongoing. You're still getting your justice. And if Richard Glossip gets executed in 3 weeks, his blood is, part of his blood is also partially on your hands. I'm really sorry to say it, but that's how I feel. I feel that very strongly. And I know that's victim blaming or victim shaming or whatever the words are that are used. I'm not mad at them. I'm sad that they lost their loved one, but I'm disappointed that they are so hell-bent on seeing somebody else get murdered.
Killing innocent people is not going to help.
No, killing a guilty person isn't going to help.
Well, true, yes, but you know what I'm saying.
Yes, even worse, killing an innocent person. It just, if you look at the Oklahoma's death penalty page, you might be surprised at how many are there, because it's astounding. And Bob Macy is responsible for a lot of that, him and Joyce Gilchrist. And I know for a fact that they murdered one innocent man with their lies and corruption. Now his name just slipped my mind. He was a criminal, no doubt. It'll come to me later. He was a criminal. There's no doubt that he was a horrible criminal, this man. But the crime that they executed him for, he was not guilty of.
Who are you talking about, Rhonda?
Cherie, do you remember his name in Oklahoma?
It's on the tip of my tongue, but I
know mine too. He's in the video that we did about Joyce Gilchrist. Gosh. And his was the first execution after the moratorium was lifted. Or no.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I can't remember. Anyway, I have a video. I've done a podcast about it, about with Joyce Gilchrist. So he was murdered, he was executed, and he was innocent of it. And it was proven after he was executed that he was innocent. And another man that they sent to, he wasn't on death row. I don't know how that happened, but he was in prison had life without parole, and he was innocent, and he was proven innocent, and he was finally released. He had a set of twins, and when he was sent to prison for the rest of his life,
I remember his name, Jeffrey Pierce.
Jeffrey Pierce. Yep, exactly. You should check that video out. The Bob Macy, the Joyce Gilchrist one. And I know Catnit's not here right now, and she's the one who's good at finding my old shows and posting the links for them. And Cherie is too. If Cherie has the opportunity to look for it, that might help as well. Let's see, I went to the wrong place, but there's all kinds of episodes where not episodes, examples, there we go, examples of Oklahoma imprisoning and or executing innocent men. And so, hopefully, I pray to God that Richard Glossip isn't going to be one of them. But like I said, it's not about being negative and not keeping not staying positive or anything. It's really hard to be positive when I know what Oklahoma is capable of. I guess that's really the only way I can explain what I mean. Let's see. I think this is the one. I think I found it. Yay, I'll be so excited. Yes, this is, and Cherie put together these slides in this too. So I'm going to share this link with you guys so that you can check this out, just so you can get an idea of what we're talking about with the Bob Macy and Joyce Gilchrist fiasco and how corrupt they were. Joyce Gilchrist was eventually fired, and then she died not too long after, but she was fired after years of investigating. And this you'll learn in the book Death and Justice by Mark Furman is really all about Bob Macy and Joyce Gilchrist, honestly. And so, it's very, very interesting. And when it was really, to me, it was kind of surreal reading it, because as I was reading it, I was thinking, but this is real life. Like, I know people who live there. I know people who are familiar with this case or this case or this case. I know people, this is like a real thing. This book is about a real thing. And it's really surreal to read something. So I don't know. I just recommend it. Shaz, no, he was not granted an exoneration. He was actually denied clemency yesterday.
Well, the parole board denied recommending it to the governor.
Yeah, voted for no clemency. So now it's going to you'll have to maybe skip back and watch. But now it's going to go before the hopefully the Supreme Court, United States Supreme Court, or however you say that. Anyway, so
his execution date is May 18th.
Yes.
3 weeks.
Yeah, 3 weeks. It's just, and I think about how fast time goes even when I'm having good days. I'm just scared that I'm just like, let's slow down. Let's slow time down, because I can't imagine what he's feeling again for the fourth time now. Shaz, he admitted to it from the very beginning. Justin Sneed admitted to killing the Van Treese from the very beginning, but he claims that Richard Glossip hired him to do that, and that he was going to pay him $10,000 to do it, and
So he
then
could get off death row.
and then he gets then he gets to get off.
Threw Richard under the bus. Yeah.
Yeah, he threw him under a fucking train is what he did.
Yeah.
And, you'll learn if you start looking into the case, you'll learn that there's a letter that Justin Sneed wrote that says, what if I wanted to recant? What if I want to, tell whoever that Richard didn't do this, and
which was just found in box number 8, which was
number 8.
withheld.
Yep.
From the defense. Yeah.
So what do you got, Cherie?
Oh, it was Malcolm Rent Johnson. I finally found the PowerPoint.
Yep. Thank you. Malcolm Rent Johnson. And we highlighted several, I think 6 or 7 cases of wrongful convictions in that video that I posted above. And Cherie did a great job of putting together the slides, and we really did research the information and got to know a lot about it. And I think that's one of the reasons that I've just gone so hard on Oklahoma reading that book. So anyway, it's don't know why what does the emo thing. What are you talking about? Am I being emo? I am being a little emo today. So I think we've given you plenty. Oh, hell no. Who said that? What did I say that? Oh, I don't know what I said that made you think that.
What?
TJ said, just because I live there, I'm not to blame for what a corrupt system does. Sorry, I take offense to that.
I think Shaz said, I can't believe that Oklahoma, how desperate they are to kill innocent people.
Oh.
And okay. I think they meant the corrupt criminal system.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They corrupt people in office.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, so please, check out these links that we've dropped, that Kat has dropped for you guys. And if they're not already, we'll try to get them in the description tonight or tomorrow when I get home from work. And then I don't know what time I'll start streaming. Let's see. I could probably start streaming around 5 o'clock Central, the documentary Killing Richard Glossip. And we'll see, hopefully there will be some interest for it. Liam says, is box number 8 going to become a metaphor for discovering evidence of innocence, which is ignored in lieu of not having the prosecution side's egos? Yeah, box number 8 is going to be a metaphor for a lot of shit now.
Mm-hmm.
Because if
Brady in Wisconsin.
Yeah. Well, it's Brady Giglio in everywhere. Brady Giglio.
Okay.
In Oklahoma.
Yeah, it's a case.
Well. Yeah.
It's federal. The Brady case is, so that's every state.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's so I'll probably start streaming. I mean, if you guys have a time that would be better, we could do it. We can try another time too. But I'm going to say for right now, 5 o'clock Central. If you're not a part of my Discord, I can get you a link for that. I think Kat dropped it in into the chat already, but I'm going to go ahead and put it in again. And if you haven't joined the Discord, I really feel bad because we don't really, my Discord is very minimal, I guess. I don't know how else to say it. It's not that I never do anything there or we never do anything there, but it's not as active as Foul Play. I'll just put it that way. And it's just because I don't, not a lot of people. Oh, did you do that, Cherie? Okay. Did you put it in my chat as well? I'll put it in my chat. Thank you, Cherie. So we can watch it there. If for some reason I can't figure it out or it doesn't work or whatever, then we'll move it over to Foul Play. But I definitely want to try Daniel's truth first, for sure. So there's just so much to say about Richard's case that I don't know what to say anymore, if that makes sense. Excuse
Don't
me.
kill him.
Sorry, my water went in the wrong way. But so we're just going to kind of leave the Glossip case at that, or at least for right now. And we'll plan to stream tomorrow night, Killing Richard Glossip. And I don't know if you want to talk any more about Cherie. What did you have?
I think I left it on accidentally. Sorry.
Oh, it's okay. I don't know if anybody wanted to go into any more. I really want to say, I'm going to kind of switch gears now to Lori Vallow's trial. I really hope, and I tagged Dr. Silkman yesterday in the Vallow Daybell room in Foul Play, because I don't know if anybody has listened to any of it yet, but yesterday's and today's, no, I don't know if it was today's, definitely yesterday and the day before, they started talking about when they discovered the bodies of Tylee and JJ.
I can't listen to that. I listened to the recap on it, Nate's recap. But
oh, the recap, yeah.
I can't listen to it.
Hard. It is really, really graphic, really hard to listen to. I just read the update part, and because Nate's so detailed with his updates, you don't really even have to listen to it, but it was so graphic and so, but I really just felt like it would be right up Dr. Silkman's alley, because they talk a lot on the stand about how they retrieve the bodies, what tools they used, the grids that they made. They just went very detailed about what they, how they discovered the burial sites, and then they were showing pictures and things. And then yesterday they had the what's it called, the medical examiner. Oh my God, it's heartbreaking. It's so graphic and it's so horrific. I mean, even Gannon Stauch's was horrible and horrific. Absolutely. Which is also just, mind-boggling. But reading Nate's updates and listening to what little bit I did listen to from yesterday's testimony was so unimaginable. And it made me think, this is impossible. Nobody could do this to a child. But it happened. And but the medical examiner gives a lot of detail, and talks a lot about Tylee's body. We don't know the order of when it happened, or if they do, I haven't listened to it or they haven't said it, but Tylee's body was actually cut and chopped at, not cut, but chopped and stabbed at. And they did recover some of her bones, and saw chop marks that the medical examiner feels like was either like a machete or a hatchet.
Oh, Rhonda.
Sorry, I'm really sorry. Anyway, I won't give any more details. It was
No,
bad,
please.
but there was some burning of Tylee's body as well. And I just think that what we've talked about with, with Stephen Avery's case, and what happened to Teresa Halbach, I think Dr. Silkman would really find it, well, he would find it horrific, of course, but interesting. It would be something that would be interesting to him. So
I was just listening before you came on. I was just listening to the Brian Walsh arraignment today that happened.
Right. I didn't even get a chance to watch that.
They have a lot of evidence against him.
Do they? I bet. Ooh,
A
good.
lot. Oh my gosh. It's unbelievable what this guy did. Yeah.
Well,
It was very interesting.
yeah, I'll have to go back and listen to that. I know it was on, who was it on?
Court
Law and
TV.
Crime? Oh, Court TV. Okay.
I saw it on Court TV. It's just the hearing. It's not any
Right.
commentary or anything. Yeah.
Yeah. That's what I want to hear too.
And
Yes.
he pleaded not guilty.
He's still pleading not guilty, huh? Oh,
Yeah.
wow. Well, you know what? That's really interesting. That's a really good point, Liam. All murders are committed against someone's child. That's absolutely
Yep.
right.
Yep.
Yeah, everybody is somebody's child. Wow, that's really profound, really, when you think about it that way.
Some of those children never get a chance to grow up, but
Yeah. Yeah, and yeah, I'll have to go back and find the Brian Walsh thing. Maybe I'll listen to that instead of something else for a while, because it's been pretty rough. But so the Vallow case is really, it's much, much worse. Again, talking about evidence, because we've seen a lot over the years. We've seen a lot about the Vallow Daybell case, and the children and all that. We've been talking about it for years, in different groups, or, family members talking about whatever. And I thought I knew a lot. I really did. And Awen Reese was covering it on her channel for quite a while. Denise Rainey started covering it. So this goes back for years that we've been talking about this case. And I know that Awen Reese she was keeping up with getting all the documents, that every time the motion was filed, she would, get, if it was available, she would get it. And, she would talk about it and share it. And I really thought I'm like, man, we're seeing a lot of evidence in this case before we even get to trial. What is that going to do to the trial? But I'm telling you what, there is so much more evidence than I ever thought was imaginable. And so it's a pretty rough case. And the same with the poor Gannon Stout. So, thank you for sharing that. I appreciate that.
Sure.
I'm gonna go ahead and put that up there in my tab. Anyway, I'm having a rough few days, and I'm not really in my normal scatterbrain. I'm in a whole different scatterbrain right now, and so I don't really know that I'm really making much sense. But Jack, you've been awfully quiet. Is it because there's me? I guess I'm really the only one that's talking. What do you got to say about it? Anything or all of this or any of it?
Oh no, I'm just taking it all in.
I know you were
Liars eating
interested,
your face.
Jack. I hear that. I know you were interested in the Brian Walsh case, Jack. You should watch that arraignment today.
Yeah. Jack's
Brian
eating.
Walsh. No, I'm not actually. Brian
Oh.
Walsh case. I was
The guy
actually
that
taking a drink.
killed his wife said he put her on the train in the morning and She was going to DC.
Oh, I haven't heard about that case. No, it wasn't me.
They
Must be
they
somebody.
arraigned him today. Yeah, you're familiar with this case.
Is that the one that Dr. Silkman talked about a little bit once? And I think that the wife was Serbian, maybe? Is that the one?
Yes. Uh-huh.
Okay.
Yeah, New Year's Day, he said he put her on a train to go back to work in DC. And yeah, he actually killed her and cut her up and did all
Oh,
sorts
God.
of horrible shit. But they've got so much against him, all his moves, and yeah, there's a lot of evidence.
No, sis, I was just letting you talk because a lot of times talking about these triggers is therapeutic. So to let someone talk it out, no matter what, I think is always a good thing. So I didn't want to interrupt your train.
Well, thank you. Nan's Life, which chat are you in? Well, anyway, I don't know which chat she's in, but I'll just answer since I hadn't thought about that though. What you said about, hang on, let me get your comment back. I thought I had it up there.
Who are you talking about?
Nan's Life 7 have made a comment.
Oh, she's in your Discord. I
That's
mean,
what I thought.
YouTube. She said, in my opinion, Tylee's body was destroyed in the way it was in order to destroy evidence of sexual assault.
Yeah. I hadn't even thought about that.
That could be. I thought another thing I thought maybe it was because it was the first one they did and they thought they could, get rid of it easily that way. And it wasn't as easy as they thought. So
yeah,
it could be what you said too.
Yeah. I hadn't even thought about that. Who knows? Because I'm telling you what, they are all devils. They're just evil devils.
Yeah.
So yeah, could very well be. Yeah, the Brian Walsh case, that one, I remember when that started.
He had also been what do you call it? Charged with selling fake paintings or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, he
might trip somebody's memory.
Yeah, he had a criminal history, Jack.
But not murder.
Yeah, but not he looked surprised he didn't get $250,000 bail. He thought he was going to get bail. Was it a no bail hearing? I mean,
they asked for no bail. I haven't finished it yet, actually.
Oh,
but
okay.
With all the evidence they have, yeah, I doubt he'll get bail.
Yeah, I'll have to listen to it. Well, I appreciate you, Jack, letting me spout and talk and.
Oh, absolutely.
You guys know me. That's what I always do. But this one's just been rough. So, I don't know if any of you remember
It's hard going knowing that you have a target on your back, and that target is an indelible mark, and you can't get it off no matter what.
Yeah.
It's up to one man now, the governor, to take care of it.
Yeah, unless the Supreme Court does something.
Yeah, true.
Heroic. Yeah, it's just when I think about how I think I might feel, I can't even imagine, how I might feel. Do you guys, I don't think I was a part of foul play yet, but I'm thinking Cherie will remember. Because at that time I was, I remember when this was, Eric Jose was still alive, and he was the one who brought this to our attention about an innocent man in Missouri that was about to be executed, Walter Barton. so there was a big, there was a big push, kind of like what's going on with Richard Glossip right now, to save him, appealing to the governor and, just all the same things, all the petitions and whatnot to save his life, because evidence showed that he hadn't committed this murder that he was convicted of. And I just remember the day of that execution was just horrible. It was horrible. We were like on a countdown. Everybody was watching the countdown of, is the governor going to call and, grant a stay or pardon him or something. And then, we read the news that the execution had been carried out, and none of us knew this man. We knew him only through the case, much like with Richard. And there were many of us that were sobbing. Do you remember that, Cherie?
I do. I just looked it up. Looks like it was in May of 2020.
Yeah. Yeah. And I know Tracy Strunsey went live, and we chatted in hers for a while. I would imagine we were in Richard's as well, but I just remember my point is that it's not about whether you know the person or not. It's about what is taking place and the horror of what's taking place and the finality of that.
And to these psychopaths that are doing this, it's not whether or not they're innocent.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's not it.
I'll never understand it. I'll just never understand it. I don't ever want to get used to it. I want to feel this way. I want to feel this way about every innocent person, not only that are in prison for the rest of their lives, though, of course, them. I mean, Daniel is, the top of my list for, that right now. But, any person that
what is Shaz talking about?
Anyone
heard that Kohlberger might get off? They're trying to subpoena one survivor. She said she can prove he's innocent.
I've been staying away from the Kohlberger case strictly because there's a gag order. And
yeah, so how can you believe?
Yeah, I mean,
I don't know.
So I try not to. I've seen something. I did read something about that, Shaz. But I don't. I'm so bad. Oh, his attorney said that. Oh, well, yeah, his attorney's pretty. Yeah, she's been doing that from the beginning. So, yeah, I don't know, because I know there's some controversy. What I did read, there's some controversy talking about, well, they can't subpoena her she lives in Nevada, and they can't force her to go back to Oklahoma or to Idaho, and, some stuff like that. I did read a little bit about it. So we'll see what happens. I can't imagine that he's going to skate with any of that. But I don't want to read stuff about it because I want to try really hard. I'm actually grateful for the gag order because I want to really try hard when he goes to trial, if he goes to trial, to try to be as, what's the word, Susan?
Open-minded.
Open-minded, yeah, as possible. Unbiased, yeah. Let's see. Liam says the governor is sitting by the fire, sipping a whiskey just before midnight after a large steak meal, deciding whether or not to stop an execution. Makes me wonder who the psychos are. No fucking shit. Impartial. Yeah, that's another word. No shit. That's legit, Liam.
That's creepy.
Yeah. Yeah, because
to have that kind of power.
Yes. No human being should have that power. Only God should have that power.
Right.
And that's something I will say to Stitt too. And when I tweet to him, the same God that is supporting you with your pro-life stance on abortion is the same God that is going to judge you for murdering people in your state.
When I signed the petition just a little while ago, I said something, please stop the execution or something like that. And then, aren't you pro-life? Trying to kind of along the same lines.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I believe that. It just doesn't, there's just no way that there's no way that anybody is going to make me believe that the two are mutually compatible in any way, shape, or form. No way. I don't know who Judge Roy Bean is. Do I?
I know that name.
It sounds familiar, but I don't really think I know who it is. Judge Roy Bean. Okay, well, I like I said, I don't think there's anything else to be said except for don't murder Richard Glossip, Oklahoma. Don't do it. You're going to go to hell. I don't know. I'm probably going to go to hell too, but because it's not my place to judge. But at the same time, it's really hard to sit back and just think that it's going to be okay. Oh, is it a movie, Shaz? I guess it's a movie with Judge Roy Bean. That makes sense. I think that's what I remember hearing. So anyway, from 8.
Roy Bean Jr. was an American saloon keeper and justice of the peace in Valverde County, Texas, who called himself the only law west of the Pecos. According to legend, he held court in his saloon along the Rio Grande on a desolate stretch of the Chihuahuan Desert of southwest Texas.
Well, I believe I'll have to check that out and see what this movie is. And
otherwise, no, he's a real guy. He was God in his own mind.
Oh, I know he's a real guy, but I didn't know that he was like I didn't know what he was famous for, I guess, or known for.
Yeah.
So I'll have to check it out when I'm bored someday. Gosh. Oh my goodness. I don't know. I can't, like I said, there's nothing else to be said. There's nothing else to be said. So I want to let Jack, let me know, tell us what's on your mind and we'll work on getting out of here.
Well, it's basically the same as yours. To me, it's murder. He's not the one that did it. And, for this family, what's their name? Van
Treese.
The Van Treese family. Yeah, there is no closure. That's a made up word.
Yeah.
As far as I'm concerned, it is. It's fake. It's a fake Hollywood word or somebody that's writing a story. There is no closure. Sorry. There's just not.
Yeah, I agree.
No.
That's vengeance.
It is. And he didn't do it. And this other guy that cop told him, you're either going to basically bring this other guy in and blame him, or it's going to be you. So.
Yeah.
How does the judicial get around what this cop did to this guy? He basically coerced him into making that statement to keep him off death, to get him out of getting killed, and he's the one that did it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
insane. Plus, he was on drugs and 19 years old. I mean, Jesus.
Thank you for saying that, Susan, because it's something that I feel like is important to share. Richard Glossip had 0 criminal history, criminal past. He had a traffic ticket, according to the presentation in the hearing yesterday.
He had, what did he have, like 19 brothers and sisters or something?
He had a freaking boatload of kids in his
Huge family.
Did
and a
you
lot of
almost?
them
I got
were,
had
um,
troubles.
had troubles with the law, and Richard did not. He left home at 14 or 16,
I think it was
and
14. Tell him what he
Stayed out of
said.
trouble.
that
It,
he didn't want to go that road. What are
and
you
he,
thinking, Rhonda? What he
I'm
said?
sorry, I kind of left you hanging there. Like, read my
Yeah,
mind, Susan. What when
yeah.
they were telling about that he had ran away when he was 14 years old, and 2 weeks later,
Hmm.
his sister found him sleeping on a park bench. It was 14 or 16, and she said, "Richard, what are you doing?" And he said,
Oh,
or
yeah.
where, what's going on or whatever. And he said, "I ran away 2 weeks ago." And she said, "Oh, nobody noticed." And I just
Yeah,
like, oh my God, my heart started aching. I had a big lump in
yeah.
my throat. I was just like, oh my gosh. But he wanted to be different than the rest of his siblings and get away from it. And he never had a drug problem or a drinking problem or a criminal.
Never had a traffic ticket. Never
Never.
had anything.
Justin Sneed, on
And
the other hand, had all that shit his whole life.
yeah, he was a criminal, and he was, only 19, and had been in all kinds of trouble.
Yeah.
This is another reason that people are demanding reform
Yeah.
in our system.
Yes,
It's horrific.
And how do we get
it
there?
is.
I guess that's where I end up at. But at the end of all of these things, all of these cases, that's where I end up. Yes, we need reform. No doubt. It's glaringly obvious that we need, but how do you get that? How do we? And I know it's by voting. I get it. We're also, it's, you vote, but it's got to be something besides that, because,
Keep
even if I
talking about it, like Dean Strang
keep
said.
talking, yeah, keep talking for
I
sure.
think maybe we need like independent boards, people that are not elected, people that
Yeah,
are not
yes.
in the justice system, regular people that look at these impartially at these cases, which
Uh,
is a jury, but but the jury is being told, wh- the
what
jury's
one
being
side
lied
wants
to.
them, yeah. And that pisses me
So
off when people say two juries found him guilty, because two juries didn't have all the information is
that's right.
why, and
Juries
that
get it wrong all the time
all
because
the
they're not told the
time.
truth.
Twice for Stephen Avery,
Yep.
because they don't get the truth. So when people say that to me, freaking guilters on whatever case I'm talking about, well, the jury, they say it about Daniel all the time. Well, did a jury find him guilty? Blah, 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 blah. Yes, but there's no buts. If a jury found him guilty and the judge says he's guilty and the attorney say he's guilty, he's guilty.
Dark,
No.
Right.
Dark Side comes back with, what about O.J. Simpson?
Yeah, she did. Yeah, that was an interesting day for
Yeah.
sure. But it was legit. Like, it was really legit when
Right.
she said that. I was like, yeah, you know what? That's a
Yeah.
good point.
Yep.
So I was really, I just thought, well, don't get me started on that dickhole. That was ridiculous. Liam says, kill all the bastards who don't want reform, then put me in charge. It's the only logical solution. Yes, Liam for the criminal justice reform.
Liam for God.
Yeah, that would be awesome. Yeah, well, and Susan, in some places they call it different things in different cities or counties, but I think they have like crime integrity units or criminal integrity units or
Yes.
something like that.
Yes. Mhm.
Every city or every county needs those, and they cannot, like you said, those cannot be made up of elected officials. They need to
Right.
have just Rhonda, Jack, Cherie, Susan, Dr. Silkman, Kay, Alice, TJ,
Dark
Van
Side.
Clive, Liam need to be the ones who are on those boards. Period.
I agree.
People
that care for real justice.
Yeah. Yeah. With nothing to gain.
And I have no problem finding somebody guilty if the evidence points to guilt
Right.
overwhelmingly. Yeah.
Yeah, completely. Yeah. Oh gosh, it just drives me crazy when people, they call me a bootlicker or, um, uh, I don't know how they can call me a Republican or a Democrat, but usually I get accused of being a MAGA, extreme MAGA, right wing, whatever, blah, blah, blah. Well, no, because that person wants somebody to be executed or put in prison for, So when people call me names, it's, I don't, it doesn't hurt my feelings because I usually don't know any of them, but, I just think, your logic is completely illogical. So,
Yeah. There's trolls.
yeah, for sure. And I pick up on them eventually, after a couple, like I'm talking about in YouTube comments on other, shows that I watch or whatever. But what are you so afraid of that you have to accuse me of thinking, just because I believe somebody's innocent who is wrongfully convicted in prison? Why do you have to accuse me? Why do you have to be harsh? I don't have to be harsh when I'm trying to, share my knowledge of somebody's innocence. But if they're guilty, and I'm with you, Susan, if somebody's guilty, you're not going to find me up here doing a show trying to profess their innocence if I've seen evidence of their guilt.
Right.
I don't, but I don't need to do a show like that because there's no point. I use the N word. I never use the N word. I don't even know what you're talking about right now.
Yeah.
What's he talking about? I have no idea what he's talking.
Not guilty. I don't know.
I don't know. Yeah, because I know he doesn't mean the real N word, but anyway. Yeah, so anyway, it's just excuse me.
Maybe when you said MAGA, he thought you said something else. I don't know.
Nagger. I did not. I would never.
I know you didn't, but I'm saying
No.
that's the only word I could think of.
No.
Oh, you said MAGA.
Oh, MAGA? That's what I said, MAGA, not what you think. God, I hope that's not what anybody else heard.
I didn't hear it.
No, I said MAGA.
She would not use that word.
No. Hell no. And I will call somebody out if I hear them say it. Damn it. My baby brother is black, and I'm proud of him. Well, anyway, I think it was just a misunderstanding. So yeah, like you guys said, just keep talking and just, and vote and keep, standing up for what's right and what's just. And I will. I mean, I'll go to my grave doing that. Of course, we all will, or I believe we all will. So, and, I guess that's all I can do. If I go to my deathbed feeling like I've done the right thing, then so be it. But, so, wait, hold on here. Let me get this up here. Oh gosh, under your scars. It was a joke. I figured it was a joke. You said, a nagger. People call me a nagger. God. Okay, there's so much swimming around in my head that I can't even remember what I'm saying. Okay, I'm good. Under your scars. You're killing me. Let's see what Liam's got here. A thought experiment. If the death penalty is on the table, it should be used as a punishment for all crime. Now we need to have a workable definition of crime. Well, that's very interesting.
Yeah, no.
I mean, yeah, I can't see that. I think I know. It's a thought experiment, exactly, and what it's doing, it's making people think.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, Cherie, what, Jack, did you have anything else you would like to say?
Um, no, not about. I mean, not about the cases. I mean, I can do a little plug first for the weekend,
Okay,
which
let's do
is
that.
get you off the other beaten path for
Yeah,
a minute.
because if you don't get me off the subjects, I'm just going to keep going, and I'm really tired.
Yeah, I understand. Yeah, so Saturday is going to be. We're going back with Canine Noses with reading with the crew of part of Frack's book. It'll be part 6. Doc has sent me more slides, which is again interesting. So we'll be diving back into that. I don't think we'll finish. I think it'll go into part 7, maybe even a part 8, but definitely probably a part 7. So it's been a real enlightening experience reading about these dogs and everything that we didn't know. I mean, we knew some of it, and again, it was a lot of it was peripheral, and not really understanding the importance and the context of how these dogs were used, and not trusted. They didn't trust the dogs, especially some of them. And then so we'll do that Saturday. That's at 5 o'clock Central, and then Sunday we're going back to the dispatch calls. I think we're still on the 7th. I think that's right. Hell, I don't remember now. My mind's kind of mush too, but wherever we're at, we're going to pick back up. We're going back into dispatch calls from that time frame, November 7th, 8th, something like that, where we're going to pick up at, and we'll get through as many of those as we can. That's also at 5 o'clock Central on Sunday. Thank you.
Whoops, I was muted. Okay, thanks for sharing those with us. Yeah, we'll definitely. Wait, what did you say about Sunday? We're reading transcripts, or I mean depositions, or
No, we're listening to phone calls.
phone calls? Okay, got it. I can't even. If you say too many words after something I'm thinking about, I'm going to forget it at this point.
I understand.
So what Liam, let me just say this really quick. What Liam says here, he says, I don't think it should be on the table at all, even for treason. And so, yeah, I kind of figured that. So, and TJ says that the main part of the joke, this is funny. The main part of the joke was me putting you in timeout, LOL. And I said, because you can, TJ Anderson. And he says, oh, did not know that. Yep. Why is it messed up? I mean, not that you're going to put me in timeout because I'll kick your ass, but I'll take your wrench away.
Actually, a mod can't do that.
Yes, they can.
Can't put you in timeout.
Oh, not me. No. But he can put others in timeout.
Oh, absolutely. Oh, yeah. The power. You're now a winch. I'm sorry, you're wrench. My bad.
The power of the wrench.
Actually, the power of the winch.
Yeah, the power of the winch.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, gosh. Okay, so that's Saturday and Sunday. So, yeah, I would imagine we'll all be there as usual. Cherie, what wisdom can you share with us?
Oh, I don't have any of that, but I really appreciate you, or I'm glad that you covered this tonight. It's really important.
Yeah, I appreciate that. I think it was the right thing to do under the circumstances. And, depending what happens with the Supreme Court and everything else, I may end up, if it's not on a Thursday, wrenching should be done with caution. Yes, you're right, Liam. We're going to follow this for the next 3 weeks. We're going to follow Richard Glossip. Whatever big news comes up in the coming weeks, we're going to be doing a live about it, whether it's on Thursday or, any other day of the week. I know that Becca has her shows on Wednesdays and Fridays. And I'll try not to interfere with those if something does happen. But when there's something big comes up, we will talk about it in Richard's case. just because we need to. We're doing this. It's a big deal. It's huge. It's very serious, and I want to make sure that we keep covering it to the very end. So we certainly will do that. Thank you, Cherie. And Susan, what will you share with us?
I'll just say, save Richard Glossip. Free Richard Glossip. Get some common sense.
Yeah. Believe it or not, common sense is free, right?
Yep.
But apparently, depends on how deep your pockets are and where your morals are, really, is what it comes down to for me. So, okay.
Truth wins.
Truth wins. Absolutely. Yes. Hashtag truth wins.
That's my Reddit name. That's my Reddit handle.
I know.
Yeah.
I know. You smarty pants. Okay. Well, unless something happens big in Richard's case, extremely uncommon. Yes, definitely uncommon. TJ, when we get to Oklahoma in a few months, we're going to have coffee. We're going to all get together and have coffee with you. So you let us know the time and the place. We'll let you know when we're there. But unless something comes up in Richard's case during this week, we'll be back next week with Daniel's case and getting back to Janie Liggins. I'm getting notifications from places I don't want them. So until then, keep Richard's case on your mind. Pray, sign petitions, support, tweet. If you're not following me on Twitter, it's in the description. My Twitter handle's in the description. Jax is in the description. Cherise is in the description. So let us know, follow us back or whatever, and we'll keep tweeting about Richard every day until we don't need to anymore. I don't know what to say. I hate trying to say what I hate to say the end, because I'm hoping that end never comes. So anyway, until next time, guys, peace out.